Hey everybody, I've missed you. So since I can't be doing any in-person classes right now, I thought it would be fun for you guys to come into my kitchen and just kind of watch me make dinner tonight. So it's June. I thought it was May. It's June and it's asparagus season. So we're gonna make something with asparagus tonight. Yay, my favorite thing. So we're just gonna do a real easy farro and asparagus. And you can take this basic meal that we're gonna do tonight and you can switch it up when zucchini's in season, when broccoli's in season, when cauliflower's in season, whatever's in season, whatever vegetable you wanna just toss into this is gonna be perfect. So we're gonna get started. And I've got a pan preheating here. And I'm going to, the pan is warm already, so I'm going to add a little olive oil to the pan. Toss it around there, got it on a medium heat. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chop some mushrooms and onions to add, because mushrooms and onions are my secret weapon. It's how you give everything, especially when you're cooking vegetarian food, more flavor. Onions and mushrooms just give it a really, really nice flavor. So we're gonna go ahead and chop some of these up. Okay, 1 second. My handy dandy. Okay, so we're gonna throw some mushrooms in the pan. You hear the sizzle? Come on over, cameraman. Let him hear the sizzle. I got a cameraman here helping me out tonight. So we're going to toss them in the pan, get to hear a sizzle. And I've already got my grain working. So I'll talk to you about that in a minute because I want this to be able to come out and you won't have to wait. So I just started this farro. So come on back, cameraman. Farro, for those of you who are not aware, is a form of wheat, and it's an ancient form of wheat. Kind of looks like little grains of rice, but a little bit bigger and a little bit plumper and obviously darker. Cooks up really easy. It only takes about 15 or 20 minutes. Just cook it just like pasta. So I had the water, salted water boiling, and then I just added my farro to it. And I cooked a whole cup. We're probably not going to eat that for dinner tonight, but I like to cook more pasta, more grains than I need, and then I just toss them in the freezer, and then I have them for next time. So our mushrooms are cooking here. I've got it on a medium heat, and while those are cooking, I'm gonna chop up a little bit of onion to add to it. So slicing an onion, in my classes, for those of you who have taken my classes, you know that that's one of the first things I show you guys how to do and how I find it the easiest. You wanna cut up one end of the onion, so that way you have a nice flat surface. If you're gonna cut it in half, I don't want to use necessarily the whole half, so I'm just going to sort of cut a little bit over here. Give one big half, one small half. Okay, and then I'm just going to peel the skin off. Okay. And then, since my ends stayed together, I'm going to go ahead and slice it. And you can see that it stays together on one end. So if I'm gonna turn it the other way now, so I can get some dices, I don't have to hold the onion together, and it stays together nicely. At the end, all I have is this little piece, and that's it. So I'm just gonna take this, wait till my onions have a little bit more color in them, just till they, and if you notice, I did not add any salt. I'm waiting till the mushrooms kind of condense and get their flavors all really nice and mushroomy, and then I will add the salt, because mushrooms have a lot of water in them. So if we add the salt too quickly, then all the water comes out and the mushroomy flavor kind of gets washed out. So we're gonna just wait till they sizzle up a little bit. Give it one quick toss. You don't want to play with your food too much on the stove. You want to just let it do its thing. Okay, so they've got some color. So I'm going to go ahead and take my favorite tool in the kitchen, my scoop, and go ahead and add my onions to it. And let them cook away. So now that the mushrooms have kind of gotten their liquid out of them, I'm gonna add a nice sprinkle of salt. And I really like the pink Himalayan salt. Just gives it a nice flavor. It's got additional minerals in it than just traditional salt. This is also how you should keep your salt in your kitchen. Not in a shaker. Keep it next to your stove I mean, it doesn't have to be as beautiful as this. I love this. My mom gave it to me. It's a little bamboo salt holder. The nice thing about the cover is that when it gets humid, the salt is nice and protected in here so it doesn't get all sticky. So keep your salt next to your stove and use it. It's one of the things that really makes food taste good. It doesn't have to taste salty when you use salt. You're just bringing out the flavor of food. You're bringing out the mushroomness, the onionness, the asparagus-ness, the really good parts of the food. I'm going to give it some good fresh black pepper in there. And I'm not touching it, I'm letting it do its thing. And then I'm going to take some of my garlic, because onions, mushrooms, garlic, OMG! That's what I like to call it. Because OMG, it tastes so good when you add onions, mushrooms, and garlic. So we're going to go ahead and chop up a little garlic here. And I never want to add the garlic to the pan before I add anything else, because if I add the garlic to a pan, even if it's a medium heat, it's going to tend to burn. So we want to make sure that we have other foods in the pan when we go ahead and add the garlic. So that's a good amount of garlic. I'm a big fan of garlic. All right, so now I'm just going to give it a quick little stir to see where we're at. Okay, and the onions are starting to soften, which is really nice. Okay, and now, once again, I'm gonna leave it alone, okay? Got my heat. So now I'm gonna take my handy dandy scooper and add my garlic. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another little glug of olive oil, toss it in the pan, and then just let it cook. Now I'm going to check on my farro, because it's been cooking for, I guess about 5 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes. And like I said, it's 15-20 minutes, that's it. So I'm going to go ahead, and you can come on in here, cameraman, so we could show them it's boiling away. Okay, and it doesn't look a lot different once it's cooked, but it starts to open up a little bit. So then I'm gonna just take a little taste of it, and it's almost there. And the way you'll know it's almost there is it has a nice softness to it, but it still has a bite to it. So it still has a firmness. Doesn't taste raw, but it just has a nice bite to it. So we're gonna give it maybe another 5 minutes. And then it should be done. Okay, so my onions and mushrooms are cooking nicely. So now we're gonna get the ingredient that we've all been waiting for. And this is how I store my asparagus when I bring it home from the market. In the refrigerator, I fill a jar with a little bit of water in it, and then I just put the asparagus in there straight up. Keeps it nice and fresh. I've already snapped off the ends. And that's basically what I do, is just snap off where the woody part is. And then I'm going to go ahead for this. I love to roast it. I love to saute it. I love to grill it. And it really depends on the thickness of the asparagus and how you're going to cook it. If it's really, really fat, it's great on the grill because it doesn't have, it has a lot of water in it, so it can handle the high heat. This is about some of this is pretty fat. Some of it's kind of in the middle. So this will be perfect for sauteing, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slice it really pretty. So I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna just slice it on the bias. And that way, it'll look pretty, but it'll also cook rather quickly. So it'll have a nice bite to it, but it also will get cooked. So go ahead and just slice this up. So I hope you guys have all been cooking and enjoying the beginning of this beautiful season of fresh veggies that we've waited so patiently for this winter. But I've really missed my classes. I've really missed all you guys. And I can't wait to start doing in-person classes again. Okay, give that a start. So we're going good here. We got our mushrooms and our onions are cooking really nicely, so I'm going to push them to the edge of the pan. They'll still cook, but I want to give our asparagus front and center. So I'm going to go ahead, throw the asparagus in. You cannot have too much asparagus in my book. I'm going to go ahead and toss a little more in there. Another. And in order to help this sort of steam and saute at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and grab a cover. And that way, it'll cook a little bit quicker, but because it's in the pan, it'll get that nice crustiness to it and a nice saute. So, didn't quite use it all. I'm going to go ahead and grab my farro because I'm pretty sure it's ready by now. And then what we're going to do with this, just take a strainer. I'm just going to go ahead, strain out the water, throw it back in the pan. That's it. And I'm just going to leave it off to the side. The fact that I have an electric stove, I know not to put it back on the burner because it will continue to cook. So I'm just going to leave it there until we're ready to add it to the asparagus dish. So I'm just going to give this, now the asparagus had a little time in the middle, I want it all to come together. Okay. And I don't think I salted when I added the asparagus. So you want to salt at each stage of the game because it helps bring out all the different flavors. And a little more pepper. Okay, and what I like to do, because this will be a textural meal, I want to add some nuts to it. Give it a little more boost of protein and also just give it a really nice crunchiness to it. So I kind of feel, I'm kind of feeling the almonds. No, don't worry, I'm not getting on a plane right now. We just live by the airport. So I keep my nuts in the freezer, keep them nice and fresh. So I'm going to use some sliced almonds today when I get ready to pull the asparagus. I'm going to toss them right in the pan. That way they'll get a little bit warm and a little bit toasty. Okay, just grab a handful. Give it a beautiful handful. Toss it around. And give it a chance again to be quiet. The one more thing that I want to add, I have a little bit of lemon right here. I want to bring a little bit of the flavor out, and lemon is really beautiful with asparagus. So I'm going to take a little bit of a lemon and give a nice little squeeze, and I'm going to toss this right into our asparagus mixture. Okay, just pull out those 2 little seeds in there. Okay, and then there's one more. Give it a nice little drizzle, little acid, If you don't have lemon, you can use a little bit of like white balsamic vinegar or white wine vinegar would be nice. But that acid will really help spark up the flavor of the asparagus. All right, so we are all set here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my farro that I have already cooked, and I think I'm going to use it all because whatever we don't eat tonight, we can eat as a snack tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and add my farro right to the pan. Give it a nice toss around. And actually, I just thought of one more thing I want to add to this, because I can never get enough of green things. So we have asparagus in there, but I'm going to just take a couple handfuls of some baby spinach. Toss that in there, cover it for maybe a minute or two, and it'll steam perfectly, and then we're all set. I'm going to have a little sip of wine here. Hi. Cheers, my photographer. All right. So as you can see, I mean, if I had fresh herbs, I just don't happen to have fresh herbs tonight. Fresh herbs would be perfect in here. A little bit of dill, a little bit of basil, parsley even, whatever fresh herbs you have, you can toss in there. You could use dried herbs if you want, but when I have really fresh ingredients like the asparagus, is just so fresh, just salt and pepper will really bring out the asparagus flavor of it. So here we are. We're all set. Let's get a nice little close-up of our spring/summer. We're about 2 weeks from summer, so it's our spring summer farro bowl. So hopefully you've enjoyed this and you will try this. And like I said, if asparagus is out of season, just use whatever you have in season and just make it your own. If you can't do farro because you're gluten-free, you can do this with rice, you can do this with quinoa, you can do this with buckwheat, you can change the grain up, you can do this with pasta. Just get creative and have fun in your kitchen. And I hope to see you soon in my classes.